Hey everybody, Andy here, aka Montolio. We're back for another Vintage League, and we're gonna play some aggro shops here. And more like a hybrid between Golos and the aggro version. But I put this deck together, and basically was four main deck null rod, being the true crux of the deck. And there's been some moderate success with the build with the Stone Cold Serpents in it. The main purpose is to be able to stop flying frogs. And I recently moved back on to Revoker as Bowmaster was at a little bit of a low in comparison with its previous statistics. And as a result, Revoker was really good. I have liked it a lot. But that said, I'm going to try a list today where I pull the Revokers out and I'm going to put in Golos. And we'll see how we do with that. Unfortunately, this does not have a robust Golos toolbox that you would have with Tabernacle being the main card that's missing, Inventor's Fair, as my deck does not function well with Tabernacle, given that I have creatures I want to attack with. And number two, Inventor's Fair, I don't know that it's necessary in this particular type of build, as it's fairly redundant in what I'm looking for. That said, we're going to try it and see how it works. I am going to run the one Bauble just as a search target here. I have been somewhere on average between 2 to 3 in my main. Sideboard, a little bit different from what I've been using recently, but I am going to go back onto Worm Coils. So keep completely eschewed Metamorphs here, and despite I think Metamorph is very good, I also think Worm Coil is pretty good as well. So we're trying it out today. I got the Mindbreak Traps for obvious reasons, Dismembers for an obvious reason. I am going to try the Ginger Brute for White Initiative, and the rest is just pretty much a graveyard package here. I do, of course, have the Tabernacle on the sideboard should we run into Bazaar. But Bazaar is at an all-time low right now, so I'm not anticipating having to use that, but it's good to have if we do need it. Okay, guys, like, comment, subscribe if you haven't done so already. Appreciate it, and I will see you round one. Okay, here we are. Round one. We're playing against Red Lows. Yeah, I mean, I can't bulk at a turn one Golos here. It's pretty powerful. Now, if they're playing PO, which they certainly could be, we could be in some trouble. But I think I'm going to go get Strip Mine here because I have the Crucible. Okay. Oh, they're just going to manual discard. Well, that's probably pretty bad for me, isn't it? Um, I think I'm going to jam the Crucible while I have the opportunity to do so rather than move the Nettle Cyst over. We're going to have a reanimation spell here, and we're going to be able to attack through this thing. Okay, so they have the Force of Will here, and that's not the worst for me. This will cost them 7 life, and my Germ should be bigger than the Atraxa to be able to trade with it, but we'll see. Guess I wish I had got a Caracas now, huh? Doesn't mean we can't draw a Caracas off the top. Hopefully they grief me here. So I don't hate our position, despite Atrax is pretty ominous. Like being able to make sagas. I guess they've used so next turn they can wasteland me. They've got time walk. Okay. Reanimate. So reanimate's not going to be very good for them here. Okay, that is acceptable. So I can put them to 2. The other option, I mean, I need to make a saga token, right? 100% I do. I think I just attack with the Nettle Cyst here. They can just take it, but if they want to trade here, that's just amazing for me. I don't think I need to play anything out here. So they will wasteland me here with all likelihood. They can also reanimate their troll after an attack. Which I would be okay with because I'm going to be bigger than the troll if they reanimate. I think they just have to wasteland my saga here, right? Would love to draw a snake as well off the top. Okay, they are going to. Wow, I don't know what that means. Well, I guess I come through with everything. Let's make my opponent do the math. I'm not thinking too hard about this. That's a lot of damage, though. If they have a fatal push here, it's pretty bad for me, but. Okay. So we're playing against Scam. I would imagine Wormcoil to be reasonably difficult for them to handle. What about Dismember? I could see Dismember holding some value. Maybe I don't need the bauble here. I don't think I can fit them all. Okay. Yep. Very reasonable. It's pretty tough on me if they have a bauble here. But these decks typically don't run bauble. Grief Reanimation certainly will make me look bad as well, but okay. Okay, so this is their Spell Pierce. I need this sphere to resolve here. Okay, it did get in. A little bit finicky if they have a Wasteland here, which is certainly possible. Mm-hmm. Probably a cycle of Troll here. No. Okay. They got the Force. That's fair. So we need a bit of help. Saga counts. Not going to cycle my Soul Guide Lantern here. I don't see the need to do that yet. Keep them farther away from delving. And I will cycle one of my baubles end of turn here. Troll. Yep. I don't think I'm gonna. I don't know. Do I just want to burn one of these and get rid of their graveyard? I do kind of like the idea. I think I can wait a turn to do that. Or during my turn in the least. Let's see what I draw. Um, just more interested in the damage right now, thus playing out the Mana Crypt. Okay. Round 2. Bug player. It'll be almost impossible for them to resist wastelanding this. I'm not going to show them I have the Emerald here yet. If they play a Vexing Bauble, then I get burned, but they wouldn't be on bug if that was the case. Likely a Deathrite Shaman here. No. Tamio. Okay, that's a good one. I mean, this still could be bug. It just be a very different version from what we're accustomed to seeing. And I really like Tamio. I think it's an awesome card. Okay, they do have the Mana Crypt here to spur. So that's going to change how I approach things here because I don't want them drawing cards with Tamio. They could have days here, it's true. Enough to attack through here if this resolves. And thankfully I have a Mana Crypt over here doing some work for us. Would really like to draw a Crucible. Nope, they do flip it. Okay. That's a bit scary. Of note, Urza Saga does pump up Nettle Cyst. It will give us the ability to perhaps kill this Tamio here. It should if both my things resolve. So hope it resolves, guys. I am going to kill Tamio here. And if they lose the flip, they're facing lethal next turn. Okay. Tamio. Really hard to know what they're actually playing. I'm just not going to get overly excited. Like a Tamio and a Mana Crypt could be just about anything. Okay, my hand's pretty awkward, but I mean, I'm keeping it. The null rod looks horrendous here. I'm trying to play this a bit greedy because this hurts my hand significantly. The Harbinger, the Urza Saga is dead. They have a null. Okay. Here we go. That's what I got. And this shouldn't hurt me ferociously here. Like, I mean, my hand is bad right now. I realize that, but any land off the top outside of a Saga does help. Cannot block. I could block. So we definitely do want Dismember should this go to a game 3. Okay, that is not good. I think I have to do the mana efficient play here. I am going to attack because I don't want to block when I can make this thing bigger than the Harbinger next turn. So we'll get in a couple damage here. Second Harbinger, okay. I'm not going to attack here. I'm not currently the beatdown. Purple's recall. Yep. Got it. Love a land here. So they got some damage in there, but it wasn't an overly impactful Hercules. Okay. Too bad they didn't try and bounce me there. This was all spurred by a Black Lotus, so something to take note of. They can counter this with their annul. They have one. And I'm going to attack in. I'm going to try and kill the Jace the Mind Sculptor here. And they can let Jace die. I can take 4. And I should be stable the following turn. And if they block here, protecting their Jace, that's fine. They can return my creature back to my hand with Jace this turn, but it slows their clock down. Yep. Yep. Okay. I mean, we're pretty much dead here. I can concede this game. Okay, so I do think we want some dismembers. I don't know if we need all of them. Vexing Bauble seems pretty low impact. Probably can cut a needle. I just like Null Rod. I just think Null Rod's so powerful. Let's try this. Wormcoil's awesome, but Wormcoil was really expensive. Yes, if they get one of those merfolk down, it's pretty tough on me, but because Ursa Saga is a pretty important part of my win condition. It's a mulligan. And this is a nice looking hand. So what do we want to put away here? I think we just got to put a null rod away and just hope that the null rod resolves. This is going to get forced, I have a feeling. No. Wow. That's going to make my opponent play on a fair trajectory. Okay, nothing. So they're on a null. Can play around Spell Pierce here. So a little bit punished for leading the way I did there with the Ancient Tomb protecting my workshop. I don't know if they're on Wastelands. I suspect they're not. But had I been able to do that, I could have threatened to have up Dismember without having to pay the mana, or threaten Wasteland. Yeah, they're just all mono basics. Probably just have to dismember this thing now. Let's see if I can bait a Force of Will out of them. Because it has to be Force of Will here. Gotta play around Daze here. Yep, so there's the Force of Will. And now I'm about to get hit with one of those Harbingers, which probably is going to kill me here. My life total is low. Sour of Temptation. We're playing against a brew here. Tommy, okay, could be worse. Not optimal, guys, but let's see if I can resolve that. Okay, that's good. I will save this for a patchwork. They cannot collect the trip cache, the clue right now. Okay. It's a good one, guys. That's a good one. If I can keep them off of killing my Saga here, we got a chance. Now, they do have dress downs, they've shown me, but All right, hopefully we can fade a turn here of them not finding land. We can get some damage here. Like, hopefully the Saga can go the distance. It'll be really powerful if it does. Okay. So the question is, what do we want to get here? I think Vexing Bauble, right? Vexing Bauble, in truth, doesn't really do much with the Null Rods and the Sphere in play. Like, what would we name with Pithing Needle? Tamio Seasoned Scholar? We don't even have a Pithing Needle in our deck. Hmm. I mean, it's good damage. They're dead next turn if they don't rip a land here. All right. That was a little bit too close for comfort. I really liked my opponent's brew there. It was cool, like a lot of cards we haven't seen in a long time. The Brian Kelly Malevolent Hermit and Benevolent Geist, and we saw the use of Harbingers there to great effect in game two. Tamio Inquisitive Student is a card I really like. It's just such a powerful draw engine, especially if you do what they did in game one with Mana Crypt and play just to be able to cycle these tokens really fast. Yeah, anyways, we'll take it, guys. Okay, here we are in round three. Did not win the die roll. Unfortunately, I think my opponent is a mono white player. And what is unfortunate for us against mono white is it's very hard to come from behind with a deck like this that has no interaction. So I don't know that they're mono white, but if they are, it could be tough. Okay. I mean, that's pretty good against me. Do I slam Null Rod here and risk getting wastelanded? Yeah. I'm just going to cast a 1/1 snake. Because it will pump up my Nettlesis next turn should I get the opportunity to cast it. My opponent did not burn their bauble, so it is permanently stuck. So we're playing with a bauble now. I'm going to march. Okay. Makes sense. They did find a wasteland. Okay. It's pretty hard on me if they do that. They have the choice of casting a creature or wasting me. And they are casting a creature. Okay. Okay, that is not the worst for me, believe it or not. And that can block their Archon. Hopefully they don't realize it has reach. Snake is not a commonly paid card anymore. Once again, they left me with the workshop, which is pretty brave. I get one spell. Okay. Well, they can attack me with their Archon here. I am going to wasteland them. I forgot to play a land, went through my turn there. Really horrendous play from me. Now they're going to take my land and I'm pretty screwed. That was awful from me. I want to keep them off season Dungeoneer here. Ugh, guys. So painful. Yeah, okay. Now we're screwed. Yeah, a little bit of a mistake there. Quite costly, as a matter of fact. Trap. Yep. Yeah, really big mistake there, guys. I feel like I was losing this game regardless, but I had a chance the way had I played the Ancient Tomb. Yep. Hmm. I feel like this is a pretty reasonable matchup for us, Patrick. Yeah, makes sense. All right. Guess the worm coils will stay out. Yep. 10 works. Gonna go Wasteland and the Sol Ring into Sphere. That may change. However, if my opponent has a chance, I'm going to just have to burn my Stone Coil, which would not be optimal. This will set up for a turn to Golos, which I will go and likely find myself a Urza Saga. But I could also find a... So they do have the Chancellor. Okay. The reason I'm doing it this way is I do not want to get wastelanded. And if they wasteland my wasteland, oh well. We got lots of great top decks. Okay, at least it was only one mox. So that makes me feel better. I'm Golosing here. There's the Saga. Here we go. Oof, Black Lotus was a nice draw. This will let them get on the board here. Could take me off an Urza Saga if I have to dismember. I was really hoping that I wouldn't have to do that. Okay, 5 mana. So they can cast a Dungeoneer here. Of course, I would happily kill it. I think that's what this is. Or it could be to destroy, yeah, Witch Enchanter. Yep, go for my Saga. I respect it. Funny enough, if I had another mana, I would consider putting this at 3. Probably not very good, but doesn't matter. Yeah, that was pretty clutch, that Black Lotus. I don't 100% know how well I'm doing here. That was a good draw. It's possible that they've got a, what's it called here? A March. Just keep plowing in here. They didn't do anything. Okay. Like if their big play is a Seasoned Dungeoneer, I have an answer to that. Okay. I think it is a Seasoned Dungeoneer. I can't imagine why else they would do that. Yep. Okay. They played their land. Yeah, they're dead here. Okay, so this is where it gets tough, right? Do I want Mind Break Trap? I'm going to try something a little bit different than what I normally do. Okay, this has the tools. This has the tools. They potentially could play in a Mind Break Trap. We really have to hope they don't have a Chancellor here. That's the first thing. Or a Bauble. That's one of the things when you think about it that's good about Sphere on the draw. It doesn't give me an out to Bauble. It's something to think about. I haven't thought about that too much on the draw perspective, but Sphere could be pretty good. We're going to keep this. Okay, let's see first of all if they can play into my trap here. 1. Okay. Yeah, that's a pretty big play from us. Unfortunately, my opponent has a wasteland. We really need to draw another land here. But I'm not complaining. Do I just get a Nettle Cyst out here right now? I gotta be honest, I think I do. Now, look, if my opponent finds a Vexing Bauble in this stage and they decide to leave it in play and not burn it, it's my own fault. But me getting a little bit greedy here, actually, you know what? I'm not going to get greedy. The reason is because if I want to dismember here and then untap and cast a Golos, that's a pretty powerful play if my opponent decides not to wasteland me. And another reason to play the Mox here is to somewhat disincentivize my opponent from wastelanding and saying, oh, he's got some mana still. He likely has another one in hand. I'm not going to do it now. Okay. So Dungeoneer, no cards in hand. We are going to take the initiative away from them and have a significant board presence. I like how we played that. I mean, Null just almost ices the game right here, right? I mean, they can always draw a March here, but that opens me back up. And if they want to wasteland me, they're so far behind. Okay, put the initiative back. All right, my opponent has 2 lands, and they can take me down to 1 land. That was not going to be good. That was not going to be good. That would have been okay. All right. I mean, we got there. Nice win for us there. Look, when you're playing against initiative, when you're on the draw, bringing in something like Mindbreak Trap is a huge gamble because it could be nothing more than a Chrome walks into an Ancient Tomb, they cast their spell, and you're sitting there with what ostensibly is a dead card in your hand for the rest of the game. But if you get them, it is absolutely backbreaking because these decks mulligan to huge turn one plays. They expend resources on things like Chrome Moxes. My opponent got rid of 2 cards here that were very viable in the matchup, Witch Enchanter, Anointed Peacekeeper, in order to enable those Moxes. And my opponent was left with 1 or 2 cards in hand after keeping a 7. And that's how we were able to catch back up. Dismembered their Mindbreak Trapped, then we dismembered their next play. It was like they just couldn't get in the game. But that's a gamble. Sometimes these things backfire. So as I say in my previous videos against White Initiative where I'm running Mindbreak Trap, it's a gut call for me. Sometimes I play it, sometimes I don't. And of course, it is contingent on the style of deck I'm playing. Okay. This hand does not really have a ton going for it. But it does have Strip Mine Crucible, so we might be able to set this up depending on what we're playing here. Let's see. Scrubland. Wow. That's right. Yeah. Well, that's pretty good against my plan here. But I am going to get going on it. So I'm going to do this. This one's a harder one to get rid of. I could have went after their land there. Thoughtseize. Okay, that does get my Crucible. But Crucible, as I say, is not that effective. I hate these lands because it does not look like a swamp. It looks like an island to me. The wavy features to it. Like they're just funny little things, those things. Bob, okay. Well, I do feel like we probably should be making constructs, right? Yeah. One, two, three. I mean, they could pull Lurrus to hand here. Yeah, I'll trade with you. Should I? Yeah. It's free damage, man. Damn, they got a swords. So Source Plowshares in hand here. Probably going to have to kill my Saga, but they might want to get rid of the problem of my guy here. I can live with that. Land? You know, definitely making a construct here. Question is what I want to go get here. I'm going to shut off their Deathrite Shaman. Just trying to get down here, guys. Pumping my stuff up as best I can. I know this seems like it's pretty bad. Okay, they're chumping. Planes, okay. That's good for me. I guess they can pull Luris here this turn. If I draw land, I can start my strip combo. Yep, I did. I can't stop them next turn from doing all that stuff, so I think what I do here is we're getting down. No, what's this? Okay, Containment Breeze, not bad. So they're putting up some blockers here that can produce Luris plus Dark Confidant here, which is pretty good. Yep. Oh, they can't do it with Containment Priest. Yeah. Not bad. Surprised they're not blocking with the Containment Priest here. We took all their black mana because they want to open up their ability to cast even something like a Deathrite as a blocker, right? They do have Swords to Plowshares in their deck. This is not a Vexing Bauble matchup. Crucible loses some level of value because they have Deathrite Shamans if I'm not able to shut them off. They look like they're playing a very hateful deck against us. And I'm keeping. Would love a workshop here. I think the automaton is much harder to move here. Yeah, I'm going to do it this way. Well, this is where Vintage is at today, guys. We're playing Oscillate Prize. And this is a really cool card. It's a very big card in Modern right now. It's my first time playing against it, but certainly can see the value in playing something like this. Do I want to play the Mana Crypt here? I think I do. It's a bit of a gamble doing this against this style of deck, but I think just playing the Sphere here is very strong. Mm-hmm. I'm going to get going here. They may be able to get some tokens here off me this turn. I probably don't attack. I don't know. It's my gut that just playing a Saga here is probably just really good for me. They've got to attack with both. Like, what do they get? So they'd gain a life back, and they'd get a token. But how much do I even care about that? Nope, I don't, because it will cost them one of their cats if they do that. I guess they could swords me here. That would be pretty good for them. Ooh, they got my Crucible. Not bad. But that snake is pretty ominous too. Okay, they had to chump block with their Oslet Pride. Okay. Looked like a pretty hateful deck, but we will take that one. We had a really powerful opener there in game two, and just a little bit too much from Overcon landed to turn one. Oslet Pride is not going to do it. Okay, here we are in round five. We're playing for trophy. We are on the draw. We're going to keep this one. It's very exciting. Our opponent has revealed a Jegantha. And the only deck I've ever known to play Jegantha is 5-color shops in Vintage. So we might have a mirror here, and my opponent does play shops, so we'll see. Sphere. Yep. So, we'll expose this, setting ourselves up to potentially get away with keeping an Urza's Saga. I have to play this here now. I'm going to save the Mox Sapphire. Is that smart? Or do I just play the automaton? Because I can play the crucible next turn. Yeah, it's just worth it. I hate doing it, but I'm going to do it. And this is my play. Pretty strong. Like getting that Soul Ring off the top was pretty huge, being on the draw. I expect to be wastelanded here. And then we can follow up with a Crucible, which is a really strong play. Okay, they did punish us with a Revoker. Not a popular card right now. But getting my Soul Ring here is pretty sweet. Okay, at least it was an Academy. At least I didn't get my Workshop. I'm going to get this in while I can. This is maybe not good. Maybe I should have played a snake here. I'm not really sure. I should have thought this through a little bit more. I don't really like this, but anyways, it's. I think I didn't have to play the Crucible out right there. Maybe they're on my list with the Revokers. Actually, they wouldn't be because they have Jegantha. But Jegantha goes really nicely with Golos. So we'll have to see here. Okay. That gives them 3, so they can cast another 2-drop here. Guess I cast a really big snake next turn is likely my play, unless I draw something like an Ancient Tomb or an Academy to turn my Sog on. Oh, whoa, what's up? I will block. Interesting. We're playing a brew here, guys, in the 5-0 racket. Jegantha and Time Walk. This is just 5-color shops. That's what it is. So cool. For those of you who followed my older videos, I do love this deck. It's one of my pet decks. Yep, this 100% is feels like my old list. I mean, really, I was the only one championing this for an extremely long time. Yeah, that's devastating. As long as I don't get anything in the graveyard, I'm probably all right. Yeah, I can't put myself in a position to trade. I really need a wasteland here to be able to get rid of their academy. That's the card that's causing me problems right now. So a Golos in the least, or wasteland or strip mine. So that's nine of 50 cards. So that's, pretty decent percentages that we're going to find one here. 1 in 5. So 20%. I mean, my opponent's down to 3 cards. I guess pseudo 4 with Jegantha. And there's a world where they could pull Jegantha here. Of note, Stonecoil Serpent can attack through Jegantha. Uh-oh. That's a bit scary. 4 mana available still. If they go for a lattice here, because I have the null rod in hand, that would put me in a winning position here, I think. Let's see what they go get. Snaring Bridge. Oh, okay. Yeah, all right. We got a game. A little bit too late, but that's okay. We got the Ancient Tomb now. We can replay it. We're going to get a Pithing Needle. We're going to put that on Karn the Great Creator. Or do we put it on Goblin Welder? Has to be on Karn the Great Creator, unfortunately. I mean, I can attack Karn here. Actually, I can't because of the Ensnaring Bridge. Okay, of course. Considering all my stuff is already cut off here, I'm not worried about my patchwork staying small. Basically, how I'm going to win this game is by finding wastelands and my opponent not having a crucible and me winning that way. And we desperately need to stay ahead on the clock. And this is a tall ask, right? Very important to try and stay ahead on the clock on this. This has all the writings of a really long game to it. Excuse my ignorance. Yep, there is the Jegantha. Just need a wasteland, guys. That's number one thing I need. That is not a wasteland. No reason not to play it. Now, the opponent can weld out their own stuff if they get something into their graveyard at some point. They will deck before I do as well, as we are currently sitting. They will go down to 46, and I will have... Oh, no. We're both 47. I deck first. Actually, that's not true. Urza Saga here is going down. They're going to take a card out of their library. Likely going to shut off my Urza Saga because I have a Crucible as my guess. Yep. Hopefully they name Wasteland. Urza Saga. Okay. Yep. Oh no, they got one. How does somebody win this game? Jegantha? Lodestone? Okay. I guess they just try and get stuff in their graveyard, right? That they can cycle their bridge back and forth. Makes sense. Yeah, I'm losing this. Yeah, because they can, if they can ever get something into their graveyard and start removing their bridge, they're way bigger than I am right now. Okay. Not ideal. They got that Crucible at just the right time. Like my way to win is gone now, right? Because they drew the Crucible last turn. Just very timely, right before my Wasteland. Yep. That's how they remove their ensnaring bridge, right? I guess I got to take it. Hmm. Yep. Here you go. Just trying to stay up on the clock here. Very important, especially because I'm losing. I think I just double block these. Yep. Right. What happens if I double block them? They can start removing things. Hmm. Probably should have blocked there. I went past my block phase by accident. Uh-oh. Caracas is a pretty scary card here. And of note, they can start jamming their Golos and Jegantha. It's very potent. I got Strip Mine. Okay. You've never witnessed this. This is one of the unseen things in Vintage, which is very cool with Jegantha. So this will start giving them the ability to weld things in and out. Now that they've got a Golos here, it's really bad for me. That's the world we're living in. And if they want to start welding out their stuff here to try and kill us that way, it's totally understandable. We just have to somehow stay above what these guys are. They're the 10-10s here, which is not going to be easy. Yeah, this is really not optimal. Jeez, drawing a lot of lands, guys. I really needed to find something there. Yep. There goes their bridge. The other guys are big again. The only saving grace about Golos activations with Jegantha is that there's a Trinisphere and a Sphere in play. And that makes it a lot harder to cast things, despite my opponent does have a lot of mana, admittedly. So now we're just in up Poop Creek here. Okay, well, we're going to have to do some chump blocking. That goes without saying. We're just dead. Yep, they got us. That was a great game. I really enjoyed that. Okay, we definitely want another pithing needle here. We're bringing some worm coils. We might want some disruption here, but most of my stuff is pretty good against what they're doing. Can I cut rods? Probably. The hard thing about these decks, and if this is my old build, and I certainly did have a welder in my build, that I was running a lot of artifact removal. I think I can bring in a Soul Guide Lantern as well, as just a way to be able to control my opponent's graveyard for a critical turn. Is that crazy? Maybe cut one of these. Let's try this, guys. I'm not saying it's correct. It's really hard to sideboard against this deck. I mean, my hand's weak, right? Hopefully they wasteland me go. But this is how I'm going to try and beat them, is I'm going to try and temple them out. Hopefully they play a Revoker or something or wasteland me. Golos, turn one, eh? That in itself is going to be a problem for me. I mean, I can kill the Golos, but I don't have an answer to the Saga here. I mean, could be worse. Do I just forget the Saga here and just try and make a monster serpent? I can make a 6/6, or I could make a 8/8. And they've got a mana crypt. I hate to do this, but I actually think that this is correct. Because they've got a mana crypt here, I feel like I'm behind. Let's just try and kill my opponent while I can. And mana crypt, the closer I can get to killing them here, there's an 8/8 trample, the better chance that that mana crypt is going to do work for me. Any artifact off the top is solid. Okay. The Ancient Tomb is not great for them. Come on. It's a good one. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I mean, I'm going with everything. They have to jump here. Now, between Ancient Tomb and Mana Crypt, it's no joke. And if they lose this flip here, they're in a lot of trouble. They did. Oof. Okay, they're putting themselves on a flip. Oh. Okay. I liked how we played that one. Okay, so what do we want to do here, guys? Soul Guide Lantern, at face value, I realize looks really bad. But what these games can devolve into, as I mentioned in game one, is crucible battles. And had I had the Crucible and Wasteland before they got their Crucible, that game would have been over. And having the ability to negate that somewhat with Soul Guides and these cards cycle is something. They're redraws. Like, I don't know that I want Null Run on the draw. I think I'm just going to try this out, guys, and hope it's good enough. See if we can pull a trophy off here, guys. I don't really want a mulligan here. We are on the draw, though. I just think you have to have more powerful hands. Yeah, this is more what I'm talking about here. I hate putting the mocks away, but it's just something I think I have to do. Is it? I think I require these 3 spells. Yep, all right. Not optimal. If they have a Crucible, I'll feel bad about this line. Pretty nice. What do they name here? Black Lotus? Hopefully we don't get punished here with the sphere, but I really feel like I need to be a bit greedy here with this patchwork. And if they wasteland, I mean, there's a lot of things that could go wrong here. I realize that. Goals. Yeah, that's pretty bad for me. Yep. At least I have an answer to that. Jesus. Opponent crushing me with restricted blue spells here. Ancestral and Time Walk. Like, really, really good here. Probably beating me. They've drawn 3 more cards than me. I guess 2 technically because I was on the draw, and getting an extra turn here with this Saga is just huge game. And in fairness, guys, I mean, I'm a little bit disappointed in this outcome here, but this is not a meta deck, and it's not a deck that, you know, this is not a reflection of our deck not functioning properly. I think this is more a byproduct that my opponent is playing a rogue deck, and we're in a league, and despite I like 5-color shops, I know it to not be that good of a deck in general, and my opponent is obviously beating us as a result. It is favored against shops in general because it has access to these and all sorts of artifact removal. My opponent's probably going to set me up for a mass removal spell. And that's a big old boy there. Yep. So we need them to have pretty much nothing here, which is a tall order. Yeah. Why let this go through? It's pretty bad for me, guys, but I got to do it. Put me to 4. No? They're getting ensnaring bridge? Mycosynthlatus, okay. Yeah, that does beat me. Can't cast anything anymore. I have to chump block here. Yeah, that's game. Great games. Kudos to my opponent. Very cool deck. So on to our deck here. Obviously a little bit disappointing falling short at 4-1 here. Game 3 of a trophy match. But that's the way she rolls. And yeah, I thought this deck was pretty good. Look, this is not a lot different from what I've been running with some of the aggro shops that I've been running. But Nettle Cyst is a card that has really impressed me. And it just overloads your opponent so very quickly. And that coupled with Urza Saga is a lot for fair decks to be able to beat. I'm not sure if I like Golos more than I like Revoker because of Revoker's really disruptive nature. But if you do get Golos going, it's extremely powerful. I don't need to explain why. Did I miss Vexing Bauble? Not really in this particular league. But I still live in the mind Vexing Bauble is a very good card. And yeah, uh, not a whole lot else to say, guys. I appreciate you hanging out with me on the journey here. Like, comment, subscribe. I do appreciate it. And we're going to see you next time.